have to unmute. Bang.
That's it.
There we go. We got
Cracking
it this
open
time.
a Miller Lite.
Please sponsor us.
I'd love a Miller Lite sponsorship, dude. That'd be insane.
It certainly
I'll
would.
take an energy drink sponsorship before we get an alcohol sponsorship.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
what we know about Bucholz? What are they up to?
We could speak to some people.
Get some feelers out.
Just kidding. They don't even give us anything. They just give us drinks to give away.
I mean, we would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't give us. I don't get anything. I don't even get balls to drink.
Like we
I have to win them myself.
We could.
Or pay for them.
We could. Like, what if I just like put one, like right here in the setup?
What's a good enough about having some balls on him at all times?
He stays strapped. That's crazy.
Why is bro strapped? What the hell?
I'm a fucking buddy. I got a podcast to film, dude. I gotta act like I got the.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. That is a good point.
Whew.
Well, here we are.
Lord have mercy.
Full strength episode again. Red, you feeling better this week?
I am. We are trying on. It's been busy, so just try not to get exhausted before the next big things.
Yeah, no kidding. Quilly, the webcam's working again.
Lord have mercy. Am I exhausted? I felt like I just went on an IT journey and a half. I feel like the IT version of Bilbo Baggins.
His quest to make the one cam work.
The one cam.
This is my precious.
Jesus.
A singular $60 Amazon webcam.
Yeah.
Brother, you gotta get a new webcam. You have to get a new webcam.
It's the USB ports that are fighting me.
Get a USB port. Not extender. What's the like
hub?
I have that.
Yeah,
I have that, but it's a USB 3, and the entire bottom row I think are USB 2s. So I've been plugging everything into the 2s, and it needs 3s. I think that's what I've come to the conclusion of. The 2s completely aren't working, like at all. Nothing works that I plug into them, unless it's my phone.
You should also just maybe take your PC into like an actual like IT specialist.
That was the next step. That was the next step.
Because I'm sure that it's probably just something with the power cables to your motherboard.
Yeah, we'll find out hopefully, or my PC will explode next to my leg. One or the other.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a hell of an insurance claim.
No in between.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got my precious back this time too. I finally just sat down and figured out the soundboard.
The Boost Over Ball podcast.
So like, that's exciting.
The big IT week. Red, fix something right now. Break and reassemble your red sign.
I can't do that one. No, thank you. The one thing I've been trying to fix my PC is I think it's like what holds your hard drive, the little tray.
Yeah.
Like, it's like loose, but there's so many goddamn cables and I don't know exactly what part it is that it sits there and vibrates. Like I'll hear my computer run and it's just in there going, and I'm just like, it's driving me crazy.
In the year of our Lord 2025, you're still using a hard disk drive?
Yeah, because they're fucking 4 terabytes. Like,
I mean, that's fair.
You live in a.
I got 4 terabytes for like $30. Like,
fair.
Of course, we're using it. It's holding old games that I don't want to uninstall and reinstall. I just move them over, then I move them back when I need them.
My SSD stick's like 5% faster, dude. What are you talking about? It's totally worth triple the price.
It doesn't have any moving parts, so it is less likely to break.
It's double screwed down.
Little do you know, my computer's always moving.
I'm always
just constantly
angry.
vibrating.
But with that, are we ready to get started for today?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube in the top left. In the top right, we have Red. And in the bottom, we got Quilly. What a tech week for us. We're ready to jump right in. On today's episode, we'll be previewing the finals for the Slash France Cup. We'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into the matchups, give our thoughts about the new rosters, how the event has gone so far, how we think it's going to shake out with these last 3 matches. Then we'll move into Red's roster rumors before finishing off talking about RLCS 2026, the format updates we've got from RLCS, from Epic. All of the things that we know so far, and the fact that the signups are now open. So kind of a lot of news stuff to talk about, but we ready to talk some ball?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we talked about it a little bit last week, the / France Cup. We talked about the group stages. We talked about the teams that are going to be making it into our top 4 kind of single elimination best of 7 playoff bracket, and that is Gentlemates Alpine with the team of Archie, Nas, and Oski. Team Vitality, a team of Zen, Exotic, and Stizzy. Carmine Corps, their new roster of Vatira, Atau, and Juicy. And Leost, which is Edgeby, Acro, and Tempo. So, Red, you were not here last week. Did you have any thoughts that you wanted to add, about the main event before we kind of start talking about the playoffs, the finals?
The only thing I got to note is EU is probably the largest toss-up I've ever seen it be in the history of Rocket League at this point. There is not a dominant team. There is not a team that is going to stand above all, that is, practically immortal this season. It is truly coin flip. I mean, it is like going into this, I think we all kind of were assuming it was going to be, someone of like Carmine Corps again still on top, just because they brought in it's still a decent replacement for Drawley with Vatira at a toe. But I mean, they end up losing to Vitality. Vitality ends up losing to Mates. Mates ends up losing to Guard. It's just this weird triangle of just like all these teams losing each other, and that's like, okay, so who actually is number 1? No idea.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. We'll talk about it more in Red's roster rumors, but Impossible, the Mitzer Fusion Redo roster got picked up, so maybe they're in the mix. We have Leost here, who at the beginning of this event, when all the roster rumors kind of shook out, they would have been a team that I would have said probably doesn't make a top 4 in this / France Cup. But you also have to remember here that there are still eligibility requirements for this tournament. Team rosters must maintain a minimum at all times of 2 French players, or if a team doesn't have 2 French players, the team must be owned by a French company in order to participate. And so that's how you have, the Gentlemates roster of Archie, Nas, and Oski competing, but it's all French orgs, right? So you're not going to see Dignitas, though I don't believe they have a roster right now. You're not going to see like a Virtus Pro or, anything like that. So there are still certainly other rosters to contend with in EU, but these are all we have to talk about so far. So that's what we're going to do. So our first game in the semifinals will be the Gentlemates versus Leost. Mates won both series, the first one 3-2, the second one 3-1. Oski was named the day 4 MVP of the event, and Nas was the day 5 MVP. Certainly, it would seem like Gentlemates have kind of everything going for them. They're, the massive favorites, and Leost being the underdogs. Quilly, what do you think about this matchup?
I think it's interesting. Like we've been saying, it seems like it's anyone's game. I feel like if the 1 through 4, possibly 1 through 5, is going to be changing the entirety of the season, I feel like it's going to be a split by split basis, possibly, with how even it seems like everything is. There's no longer that Thanos, that big scary monster in KC. It was all of last season, but I think this matchup, I think it's crazy. What is it, over a week wait or 2 weeks now in between this to that? I feel like that's an insane wait. I don't know why they did that. Maybe with the Cash Cup going on. Is the Cash Cup going on EU, or is that only NA?
I think it's both, but I think that they took a break for the Cash Cup. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it seems like a weird thing that they scheduled it around that. Maybe like late, but also with the scheduling, I don't know. I don't make those decisions, but yeah, I really feel like these matchups are going to be great. It could go anyone's way unless you're Leost. I feel like obviously they're definitely not the favorites in this, but unless you're one of those 3 players. So I think, I think these matchups are going to be fun. And obviously, who doesn't love seeing Rocket League before Rocket League's back?
Fair. So I'm putting you on the spot before Red jumps up here. does if you had to give it a percentage, what percentage chance do you give Liost to, or Lost, or however you pronounce it, to beat Gentlemates here?
I'd give him about a 21% chance.
Okay, fair.
Some wiggle room. I think in terms of ceiling to floor, this team definitely has the biggest space compared to Vitality and KC. I think that at least that's in my opinion. So I think they have the most opportunity to have a stinker compared to the other two, but they also have the biggest chance to have a peak compared to the other two. So I think it depends on what team Leost is facing. If they're getting peak mates, or are they getting just a little some mates?
Yeah. So, Red, what are your thoughts on mates chances here, and how do you feel about their roster in general?
I think the mates roster has looked extremely solid, far more solid than we were expecting going into this. I think we were all kind of confused by the mates acquisition, but at the same time, considered they were going to be a top 4 team. But they've kind of showed out with this French Cup, performing very well. I think they have what it takes to go on to win this whole thing, especially getting the draw they did with Liost. I realistically don't see them losing to Liost at all. And allowing Vitality and Carmine to beat up on each other in the semis before you get to face them, I think is a good thing there. I could see them being a favorite, but it's going to be really dependent on who we see in that Carmine versus Vitality matchup.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I mean, Gentlemates has only lost one game out of 10 this event, and that was to Carmine, and that was a game 5. They beat Carmine in a game 5 in a rematch. So, they certainly have the talent. I think that we all kind of questioned the Archie move for them, but I think it's fair to say, like, you see the vision, right? It's like Oski and Nas are doing, the mechie offensive things, and Archie can, kind of hold down the fort and contribute offensively in his own right. So I think it's going to be easier to say the least for to see this roster succeeding, especially after we've seen them perform so well in this event. But now I think we move over to probably what I think a lot of people would assume to be the better of the 2 semifinal matchups, and that is Team Vitality and Carmine Corps. This matchup for the 3rd time this tournament, same with Mates and Liost, but Vitality won one of the games 3-1, or they lost 3-1, and then they won in game 5. KC, kind of in general for Vitality, seems to be their boogeyman. They certainly seem to struggle to beat Carmine Corps, whether it's with Drawley or without Drawley now. But Vatira was your day 1 and your day 2 MVP, and Zen was the day 3 MVP, and that was the day that they ended up beating Carmine Corps in 5. So, like, my first question, I guess, for whoever wants to talk about it is, does Zen need to play at an MVP level for Vitality to have a chance to beat Carmine Corps?
I feel like that goes with every series. It's always Zen doesn't have any help. I just feel like it's the type of play style he has. I don't want to say overbearing, because that seems like a derogatory way of saying his play style. He's just the main ball handler. He's over aggressive. My biggest comparison is always basketball. So he's like a Luka Doncic-esque player where the ball is always in his hands and everything operates around him, and he makes everyone better. But if everyone's not up to snuff with him, then you're going to see it. It's not going to be the team's going to struggle. It just really, it's very him heavy, and if no one else is performing up to the standard they need to, everyone else just looks bad by proxy.
Yeah, for sure. Red, do you have anything that you want to add on that?
I think really spot on. Realistically, with how Zen performs as a player, he is very much just he either is going to peak out of his mind and carry the team to a victory, or he's going to play normally which will then kind of expose just how much his teammates need to also continue to play. I think I trust in the Vatira consistency over the Zen peakage, so I'm going the Carmine Core way here on this matchup.
Okay. I mean, we've kind of seen some of the Stizzy Zen 2v2 streams. I think that there certainly can be a lot of potential there, but I think just like with Juicy and Carmine Core, I think everybody's trying to kind of feel out their roster and figure out where everyone fits. So I think that there will be a lot of room for improvement for all of these teams. But you definitely have some exciting Rocket League here that will be taking place on November 1st. So this Saturday, the day after Halloween, here in the US. So Quilly and I have already done this. Quilly predicts Mates over Leost and KC over Vitality. He then has Mates over Carmine. I have Mates over Leost, Vitality over KC, and then Mates over Vitality. So Red, I put you on the spot a little bit here. Do you have a prediction for Mates and Leost?
I'm gonna take Mates in the full sweep here.
Okay.
I think they'll handle they'll handle business. The experience there will kind of lead the way. I think I got 4-0 Mates there.
Okay.
I'm gonna say technically, no, not technically. If I could change it, I low-key would have Vitality winning this. I feel like recency bias got me, but my man of my word, I'm sticking with what last week Quilly said.
Okay. That's fair. So you're gonna, do you want to switch it up, or do you don't want to switch it up?
No, man of my word, but a little I'm putting all of my units on one money line, and I'm sprinkling a little bit on Vitality money line. Is how I'm describing it.
Okay. Fair. I think that's a fair statement. So, is there anything else that we want to talk about the Slash France Cup before we move over into some roster rumors?
NA on top.
Okay. Well, on that note, with my precious working again, let's roll the song. Woo!
Oh yeah, good to be back. Good to be back with the song. And
So
unfortunately, we are fortunately, but unfortunately, we only have a couple of little notes this time for the roster rumors, as we are getting close to that starting line of the season. And with that, we got some signings. We got some franchises, some organizations coming back to the scene. Virtus Pro, the formerly APAC organization for Rocket League, is taking their talents to Europe, signing Eugen, Mitzer, and Radosin. Be a fantastic roster for them. It will be terrifying. I think a terrifying org to have back in EU, just from what we've seen in Counter-Strike and all the other various esports. But with the trio of Eugen, Mitzer, and Radosin, we aren't quite sure what we're going to get out of that trio just yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on them. Moving on here, staying in Europe, we have a new EU roster of Goffs, Pluvo, and Ethan. I think, again, one of these bubble teams that are just going to sit in that top 16 area might have a really good weekend one of those times and sneak into a top 8, but realistically, it's another bubble team. But best of luck to them. Staying in Europe, specifically with the Queen's Country, England announces their FIFA E roster of Joyo, Archie, Appjack, and Toxic with the coach Ixo. Very solid English roster. Glad to see them being able to compete in FIFA E with a competitive roster such as them. We'll definitely be interested to see how they perform down the line. I believe they just recently placed second in the group for seeding. I think they lost to Netherlands, I believe, was the team that they lost the 1 seed to. interesting to note, obviously, is you'll notice there's one Englishman one Englishman that is now in North America that we did not mention, and that is Rise. I'm curious to hear why he was potentially part of that roster. Was it because he's coming to North America? And I don't know, beats me. But Joey, Archie, Abject, Toxic still a fantastic roster to compete there. Continuing on, another organization coming back to the scene, formerly of the sub-Saharan African region, and our friend of the show, Armonic, Foot Esports, no longer with the normal roster and coach, completely changing it up, starting fresh, have signed the roster of Frosty, Sosa, and Cheese with the Frenchman himself, Adam Baguette, a solid top 4 NA team. Not top 4, I'd say top 6, I think. Definitely could probably keep for that top 4 spot, but it's going to be tight. I think NA is going to be as competitive as it was last season, so we'll be very intrigued to see how they compete, especially with this just kind of coming out of nowhere. Like there were some rumors about it, but I don't think anyone predicted this trio being a team. I could see Sosa and Cheese, they have that longer standing, they've had that experience there, but Frosty being the third there was definitely
Wavy,
definitely a
Talk,
question mark.
Mech. There's other people. Like it's not just like
it was interesting. I'm intrigued to see how they do. Glad to see Foot still being in the scene. Maybe we can get that Foot merchandise and show off the NA love a bit. But that's about it. Just a couple tidbits, people shoring up the teams, figuring out the organizations right before the season starts, and we'll be staying busy with a lot of results, not a lot of rumors, so you won't be hearing much from me down the line.
I think the only rumors, I'm sure we'll have like some other bubble teams that get announced here, I think, as everybody kind of, or orgs picking up rosters, but I think realistically the rumors that we'll be hearing from now on, until the end of the split, is going to be official announcements about players representing their country for FIFA E, as well as nations that have qualified and things like that. So that's probably where we'll end up for the rest of the split, as you mentioned, as signups are now open for split 1, for open number 1 for every region. So exciting times as we edge closer and closer to the start of the new RLCS season. Anything else anybody wants to add about roster rumors or any of the surprising news that we heard with Rise being left off the England squad?
Heartbreak. You want to see Rise in the game. He's honestly so good for the game. Just personality alone. Even if you actually, I don't want to say that because I don't want to see him as a sub, because it kind of stinks for him to be a sub. But I don't know. I was really expecting him to be on this roster. I think the 3 that they have aren't a bad options. Joyo or Chiapjack. I think those are 3 beyond great options. So it's really like, who do you change them for? You don't know. I think regardless, they're switching up from last year. I think it was just this team with Rise instead of Abjack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think maybe try something new. See what happens. Go full IQ in Abjack.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That's Joyo and Abjack are going to be on the same team now, so that's maybe that is something to do with it. Maybe they, Joyo and some of the players have some more pull than we would have seen. But at the end of the day, Rise is the most experienced RLCS LAN player. I kind of figure that's something that you would take into consideration going to play at a LAN event. But we shall see, right? Maybe the results speak for themselves. We do have a question from chat here. Who do you think makes the Saudi roster? So
can it is I gotta ask first, is Drawley eligible for the Saudi roster?
No, he's Moroccan.
Okay, all right. The old North Africa thing throws me off.
Yeah.
What's allowed where?
realistically, it's between the Twins, TRK, and Nubo. So I don't know how messy the TRK Falcons breakup was. I don't know how involved the Twins were in that decision. I don't know how close they are with Nubo. But, I mean, realistically, I think you keep the Twins, and then it's either between TRK or Nubo, in my personal opinion. But, Red, what do you think?
I'm thinking it's going to be the Twins plus Nubo. I don't see why it wouldn't. I think that is probably your best roster you can make at this time with all Saudi Arabians.
Do you bring TRK sub?
I could see a TRK sub, but I realistically starting 3, you're going Twins plus Nubo. I think that is a terrifying team.
I'd say there's definitely no bad blood because I believe TRK did play in another tournament with them after the land. It was a
Saudi
land they had. Yeah. So I don't think although he did look miserable in the celebration pictures of them winning, I don't think that it didn't seem like it was that bad of blood due to him still being there for it. I feel like he totally could have just like stood 10 toes down and said, "I'm not going." So maybe, but I mean, I'm assuming, best case scenario, you're definitely not splitting up the Twins. I feel like that's non-negotiable. It's really a toss-up. I really don't. I want to say they'd go TRK because they won it last year with him, but I think why not give Nobu a shot?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I would imagine that if they're able to, which it's in their country, so I don't know why they wouldn't. But I would imagine that they probably bring all 4, and then kind of see where it goes from there. But hard to leave the 1v1 national world champion off of your roster, especially with as good of a player as he is. So, good question. I'll be interested to see what they can do and see if they can repeat as FIFA World Champions. But on to the RLCS 2026 format changes. Shift tweeted out, and it was later confirmed by RL Esports, that OCE will be losing their second region spot for both majors and the World Championships for this upcoming season. So, first and foremost, it's kind of funny too, because right, no matter what they announce or who announces it, people are mad. Right? It's like bias, right? So the people who like don't care that much are not going to tweet about it, but the people who care enough to tweet in one way or the other, whether you're positive or negative against it, will be the responses that you see. So this is something that's been asked for a while from the community. Why is OCE getting 2 spots when, realistically they're not really competing for anything? They're not making day 2 or day 3s. You had kind of your miracle run from wildcard in the last Worlds, and that's really the only notable, kind of achievement that OCE has had in a while. So I think, like, realistically taking a second major spot from them, while rather unfortunate for the region, is probably better in terms of competitiveness. But what do you guys think about OCE losing a major spot and a world spot, and then we'll kind of talk about where that spot is going after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, especially after last season, it was coming. It was an inevitable event that was going to happen for Oceania, especially performing as poorly. Not to downplay the top 6 from wildcard, but we've said it here on the podcast before. It was pretty fluky. Pretty much pretty had that one time miracle run. Just the stars aligned, yada yada. But that let's not forget Major 1, Major 2 being the worst performing region out of any region, and that's including APAC and
SSA
and SSA for one of them. Like you just can't let that happen and expect to keep your second spot. They already kind of experimented with it a little bit, allowing NA and EU to get that extra slot. As we saw, it did dividends. Increase the competition tenfold in the Worlds, and I think, although this sucks for Oceania and for the region, it is the right move. I would have even made an argument for maybe MENA 3 to get a spot and just like secure it for them. But I think letting it be up to a like, toss up between NA and EU also is a very good option.
Quilly, you have any thoughts on that, or is it kind of just more of the same?
Pretty much the same. I feel like overdue is being mean, but it's definitely not underdue.
Right.
I definitely feel like the rating's been on the wall. That OCE2 spot has done literally nothing to keep that spot or feel as though they deserve that spot. The only thing they did, I think TSM did, was beat Foot. I think that was their only win for the entirety of the season. So yeah, I think if there was one spot that had to be yeeted, it was definitely going to be them. It's interesting to see what they're going to be doing with it, because like we know where it's going for Major 1. We do not know anything about Major 2.
You're right. So speaking of that, this explains how the kickoff LAN will get an automatic qualifier to Major 1. It will be taking that OCE number 2 spot, and how the winning region of the kickoff LAN will get an extra world spot, because it is the OCE number 2 spot. But this still leaves Major 2 up in the air with one spot as of now left unaccounted for. I'm not sure how they're going to play that, if there's going to be a second kickoff LAN, which, I feel like they would have announced if there was, or if there's going to be, kind of based on points, who gets that extra spot. I'm not sure. But in addition to that, RL Esports has tweeted out recently that they are saying goodbye to the Swiss stage and hello to pool play. This means that there will be 4 groups of 4 teams that will compete to see who advances. For Major number 1, it will be the top 2 teams from each group advancing. So there will be 8 teams total that are going into our hybrid playoff bracket to compete to win. But for Major 2 and for Worlds, we will have 12 teams advancing into our hybrid playoff bracket. So this will be the top 3 teams from each group will move on. So it'll kind of expand the playoff bracket as you move forward. I would imagine that those teams that top their group in Major 2 and in Worlds will have a kind of a first round bye, so to speak, like we currently have for our upper bracket teams. That just kind of seems how it would be to kind of make the bracket work. But we'll learn more about the hybrid playoff bracket as we move closer to the start of the season. But what are your thoughts on pool play? What do you think about kind of expanding the playoff bracket as we move through the season?
I'm excited for the change. I think we all were kind of getting to the point where Swiss was getting old. And especially, they experimented with Bucholz, good old Mr. Bucholz, and I think we all can agree that was a big flop. That was a flop. I don't think anyone really enjoyed Bucholz. A lot of people claimed that the matchups from it were pretty bad, and I would tend to agree. There were some cases where it's like, why are these teams playing each other? So I'm very excited to see them moving away from it and trying something new, especially with where the current health of the scene is. We got to start trying new things to spice things up, to get more viewership, to get more people interested, and I think this is the way to go.
Fair. Quilly, do you have any thoughts on pool play?
I loved Swiss back in the day, but I loved it when we got it sometimes, not all the time. Started becoming overbearing, and on the subject of Bucholz, I'm glad I got old Yeller'ed out back, because my God, was those decisions crazy? Those matchups, those seedings, my Lord, it was like he came out the womb with a broken leg, and you just had to figure out what to do with it, because it was so hit and miss, but mostly miss. But yeah, it's nice to see some change. I don't know. Did they say if it's going to be for every single lane? This is how it's going to be, or just 1 or 2 test it out?
I would assume it's for the whole season, right? Because they've been sticking since Blast showed up. They've been sticking to the same format throughout the season, so people can follow along. The only difference that I've been able to ascertain so far is the fact that they're moving from 8 teams to 12 teams for Major 2 and for Worlds in the playoff bracket.
Yeah, I think maybe honestly, little idea. I think throw in like a new idea every split, so it's like every split has its own unique twist to it, other than where it is. Like a new tournament bracket of like that you could do Swiss in one, you could do the play pool in another one. I don't know any other tournaments, but I'm sure there's plenty of tournaments. There's the group stages and all that stuff. I'm sure there's plenty. I think maybe that'd be a good idea to like make every single lane unique. Is a different style of tournament for every single one to get to the main event.
I mean, I know that's something that they used to do in RLCS right after they like took away league play. Like the first split would be like, your Swiss, your second split would be, double, like just straight up double elimination bracket style. They've done groups, they've done, hybrid groups, they've done group stage bracket eliminations, things like that. So I mean, there's options that they can do. I like that they're keeping it fresh. I like that they're switching it up a little bit because, like you mentioned, I mean, like it was Swiss for double Swiss for open qualifiers. It was Swiss for for the first part. It was into playoffs, and so we got a lot of Swiss. We got a lot of weird matchups. Bucholz kind of screwed some of the brackets, but also, Quilly, thank you for the episode title for this one. It's definitely going to be Bucholz got old Yeller'ed out back, because that's just perfect. but I think this is a good change. I am intrigued to kind of see what they mean by hybrid playoff bracket. And I'm kind of interested and a little bit concerned for the people at Liquipedia who have to set up the RLCS 2026 page for that because it is not up yet. But there's still, I'm sure, a lot of information to kind of be put out there, including the locations of Major 1 and the World Championships. But the way that kind of things have shaken out, I would imagine that Major 1 might be announced at the kickoff LAN. That's kind of maybe my thinking. But that seems like not enough time for everybody to get like visas and everything. So I'm sure that we'll have to probably hear something soon. But speaking of the kickoff LAN, for people who are confused, Lawler was streaming today and he was a little bit confused, and I replied before the RL Esports main account with the correct answer, I might add, because we know what we're talking about here. We know ball. But the kickoff LAN is going to be the top 6 teams for EU and NA that are going, only EU and NA. They will be finishing off Open number 1 for EU and for NA. So the top 6 teams from Open 1 from NA and the top Open 1 teams from EU will be finishing out their Open number 1 run on LAN in person, which I think is kind of cool. And then from there, they will crown an Open number 1 champion for both of those regions. And then the top 4 teams from EU and from NA will compete in a bracket style tournament to be crowned kickoff LAN champion. So the kickoff LAN champion will, number 1, gain an automatic Major 1 qualification spot for their team, not for the region, for their team. So let's go out on a limb here and say NRG wins the kickoff LAN. NRG could withdraw from Opens 2 and 3 and still have a guaranteed spot in Major number 1. I don't think they would do that, but that is, you could. Secondly, the winning team from the kickoff LAN will earn their region a extra spot for the World Championship. So we will see either EU number 5 or NA number 5 automatically qualifying through to the main event. They will not have to go through LCQ. I would imagine, though, they will still get an LCQ team in addition to that, but this 5th region spot for EU or NA is up for grabs at the kickoff LAN. So next, people have to kind of for the negatives on this one, right? There's no Mina, there's no Sam at this event. It's just EU and NA. With as good as Mina has done, with as good as historically as Sam has been, you have to remember how long in advance these things have to be planned, how long they have to be thought about. I would imagine that this was probably an idea and in the works before Mina was able to win their first event, RLCS event. So I would imagine if this is a successful event for them, I could see them expanding in the next iteration to potentially Sam and Mina, potentially in RLCS 2027 maybe. that could be interesting. But in the meantime, I think it's a kind of cool change of pace. I think it's a different format that we've been talking about. It's something new and exciting. But my God, man, I might cry if I see EU number 5.
Especially right now, I think NA is definitely a stronger region, but you know,
I don't. I still think EU is a stronger region than NA. I just think I think the NA, and this feels so weird to say, with the departure of Drawley, with the team shaking up how they did, with Monkey Moon leaving, I feel like that top end team is not there in EU, but I still think the EU depth kicks the shit out of the NA depth, right? So like, as much as I like to hate on them, it's an FK team for Shopify. They'll be the NA number 2 seed. Like, I think that they're a very good team. They could take some games off people in lands, not win, but take some games off people. And then after that,
Gen G with Rise.
yeah, there's Gen G with Rise, but then after
Like,
that,
come on now.
it's kind of a toss up.
after that, I mean,
There's not really a team that I feel like amazing about. Is kind of really the point that I'm getting at. Where in like EU, you have GK, you have Vitality, you have KC, you have Virtus Pro now. You have Gentlemates, you have like there's more teams that I'm confident in that they would be able to compete than there are in NA. And that's the only reason I say that. We could be proven totally wrong, right? Maybe Rise is the savior that Gen G needed, and they take the first seed in NA. I have no idea, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
You mean to tell me you like Appjack on GK over Chronic on SSG? What are you talking about, brother, dude?
Yeah, I mean
don't know.
SSG's another team that you have to put into that mix for that 4th seed, and then potentially 5th seed depending on how the rest of the teams do. But
I think last season NA's top 4 in totality was like greater going into Major 2, but then after Major 2, all claims of NA depth got just completely shelled out after SSG and Gen G went out. Ultimates didn't even make the main event actually too. We went out sad altogether.
But we didn't have an EU team in Championship Sunday.
it's like y'all left NRG to try to fight for themselves again.
There wasn't a
No,
There was
grand
an EU
grand finals, non-EU grand finals. Sorry.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say on Sundays, like there had to have been at least
There's
one.
at least
First
one.
try. Sorry. Yeah, but it'll certainly be interesting to see what happens. I'm kind of excited for like I mentioned earlier, for something different, for something new. Do I wish it would be expanded to more regions? Yes, absolutely I do, because I want to see more Rocket League. Is this a good start? Yes, 100% it is. I don't blame them for starting small like they did, because if this is a big success, this is easy to do. You don't need a big venue, right? Because you don't need fans. But you know, even like during COVID, right, when we saw the DreamHack in Sweden, where that's the Justin scream, right? They're playing on LAN and you just hear Justin screaming as he makes a save. But you know, that makes for good content, right? Like seeing the players interact with each other. You know, especially if you're Rise jumping up and yelling at the other team, or you know, just being able to stare people down, and you know, and just seeing the personality in person. So maybe you see Stizzy jumping up and down in front of his teammates instead of in a dark room by himself. So I think it's a good step in the right direction, and I'm excited to see how it looks.
And Zen's time to really curse out some other children from across the stage.
Yeah, but that kind of wraps up what we know so far about the format changes. I would imagine that we will be hearing more in the next coming weeks as we continue to as signups continue to flow in, as people continue to find out more about this next split and this next season, and as the Liquipedia page gets built out. But you know, for the next couple episodes, I think we're working on trying to get an interview for the next episode. And then after that, I think we'll have to do an open number 1 preview. Start doing a preview for all the regions as as EU and NA are going to be kicking off on the same week, so that they could get everything and visas sorted for the kickoff land. So that'll be a big episode. So I think it'll probably be interview, preview, and then RLCS will be here. So a lot to look forward to, and we're even closer. We're closer than ever before to RLCS 2026. But is there anything that you guys want to add before we wrap up on today's episode?
I got a quick question.
Okay.
What do you guys think Worlds is gonna be? Anyone guesses? Major 1 NA? Worlds?
So we do a major one in A, guess. I'm be down for that, but
Where do we think Major 1's gonna be? Do you think it's NA based? That is. Start off with that. Do we think NA
it was
is
announced
Major 1?
North America. They
Yeah,
said
it's
North
North
America.
America.
They just
It was.
haven't given a spot.
which, it's weird because they've given a spot for major 2.
They probably have so much logistic stuff to do for
Oh.
like child labor laws and stuff for France. So like I get it.
I was gonna say, to be fair, announcing that in France was pretty cool for them. I'm assuming
fair.
they did announce it in Lyon, but yeah, not announcing Major 1 to this day is still kind of. I don't know what they're holding it off for.
Yeah. So
where could it be then?
AJ tweeted, professional Rocket League player AJ or former pro said, people might be a little bit disappointed, but they're going back to a place that they've been to before. Is what he had kind of gathered, and so it's only been a finite number of places, right? It's been Dickies twice, it's been San Diego, it's been LA, it's been Boston, it's been Vegas, it's been DC.
Is there a Florida one?
I don't believe so.
What was the one?
And
one that got
Raleigh,
canceled by
Newark.
What was the one that got canceled by
Newark.
Yeah, Newark. I was like the one that got canceled by COVID.
So
Newark.
I don't think they're doing Dickies. I think that arena is too big for a major. We saw that from Raleigh. I don't think that they're going to do a San Diego because that was at a DreamHack and that did not play as well as I think that they thought it would. Cool idea, cool in theory, not so great in practice. So I think that kind of leaves Boston, LA, and DC.
I'm hoping for LA. I think LA would be very cool. That was the first LAN I went to, and realistically, it was the best atmosphere I've been a part of to this day. The stadium was full. It was that kind of like cozier vibe of like, you're not in this giant cold arena, but you're in this like everyone's kind of just packed in and just really like trying to watch trying to watch the best Rocket League you can. So I would, if they went back to if they went back to LA, I think that would be peak. That'd be very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an interesting one. I also like if you're going to do a major 1 NA, they normally like to put it in a warmer weather area, right? So like that's when you had your spring major was when you had San Diego. I believe it was generally a colder weather major when LA happened, right? Like Boston was a major too. It was a spring. So I don't like while I don't think that DC or Vegas can be discounted in this one, LA is a major hub. It's going to be pretty easy for some of the APAC and the OCE boys to get there. LAX is certainly a massive airport. I think if I had to bet right now, if I had to like rank them, I'd say LA first, Vegas second, Boston, then DC.
I'm cool with Boston or DC because they're both drivable for me.
If it's DC, it's a 40-minute drive for me. I'm chilling.
Yeah. Or if they circle back to Newark, let's go. It's got an international airport like a half hour away, dude. It's about as easy as it may be a horrible airport. I will mention that, but I would be tight if they. But it's he said somewhere it has been.
Yes.
I'm assuming the asterisk of Newark getting did Newark happen?
No, it got canceled because of COVID.
Or it got canceled.
It canceled because of COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I think that would be cool just for me, just because that's literally I'd be able to just drive to the venue every day. But yeah, I think I didn't hear that they're going back to somewhere they've been before.
It's not confirmed. That's what AJ said, and that's what I've heard from a couple other sources. But again, not confirmed. Just like there's been some pretty substantial rumors recently that Worlds this year will be NA, and if it's anything to go on like the previous kind of schedule that they have, right? Major 1 Worlds in one region, Major 2 in the second, right? So last year was EU, NA, EU. The year before that was NA, EU, NA, and so now we're potentially back to NA, EU, NA. So unfortunately, I've seen from a couple different rumor sources, potentially Dickies 3.0. So
please no, not again.
It's a
play a soundboard, but I don't have one. Oh wait, ready?
There you go.
I mean, it's a great venue. The staff are fantastic. The accommodations are perfect. The venue itself is fantastic. I am not docking that at all. Both World Championships at Dickies Arena were great until they weren't, for NA fans especially. But we've been there, done that twice already. Like, I feel like there needs to be a new chapter.
Are we getting a Twisted Minds World Championship? Dickies Monkey Moon? Are you kidding me?
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
No!
The first World Championship for Mina, and it's not the Twins and Raleigh. It's Monkey Moon going Super Saiyan.
That would be ridiculous.
That'd be a dual revenge arc though. Monkey Moon after after leaving Vitality, TRK after leaving or getting removed from the Falcons or Team Falcons. That'd be a double
Monkey Moon
arc.
Twisted versus Vitality Grand Final. Man,
It's
horrifying. If that could be guaranteed, I almost feel like it might be worth it to go back to Dickies. Almost. I said almost. I said almost.
I'm not getting my heart broken for 3 straight years in a row, or not three out of 4 Dickies.
But, like I said,
Please, go somewhere new.
I really hope they do. Like, Atlanta would be fun. There's a lot of places that I think would be cool. I think a Midwest, like a Chicago, would be awesome, or an Indianapolis.
Atlanta, Chicago, Florida. We could even go to not Arizona. Arizona people might die.
Like people die. What?
Indianapolis, I think, would be pretty good. It's pretty cheap. It's the Midwest. It's got a major airport.
You know what sounds cool? Salt Lake City World. That sounds tough.
It does.
Get us to Salt Lake. Indianapolis. They've been pushing to get stuff there.
I'm still saying, bro. Give me a Kansas City. Give me a KC land. Absolutely. Give me some barbecue. Oh yeah. Give you sprint.
Kansas Pioneers would have to make a comeback.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because you have to find a smaller venue. Like that 12,000 to 14,000 seat is probably about what you'd be looking for Worlds. It's got to be smaller for a major just because there's going to be less people that go, but like the Tampa does have a nice hockey rink and other stuff, but
Amelia Arena, it's a banger.
Yeah,
Amelia Arena, I will say I've been there. That's a beautiful stadium. It might be a little large for a major because that's like a full on stadium. But no, even like Orlando, that area, they have performance centers. Where NXT and I think their new thing LFG that goes, and those are like super small venues, very easy to fill out probably. I feel like there's just so many more options rather than because it's just the optics of it. I just don't understand of having like an RLCS 2024 in this place, and guess what? Same name, different year. I feel like you're gonna start getting confusing with the year by year basis. Long term, it's not gonna be good for the record books.
Yeah,
just name wise alone. I think just a variety and change, just so you can like, because if you were to say, hey, remember that Worlds at Dickies, you'd be like, which freaking one? If we get a third one, you're gonna have to, it's really gonna start getting confusing between where it's happened. You gotta keep things different to keep it unique.
Especially too, because it'd be
the most blatant.
But also you'd have to think about it too, because like it would have been Dickies 2022, Dickies 2024, Dickies 2026. So it's like, I mean, come on. Like, do we have nothing else? Like, but again, like I said, these are non-substantiated rumors. This is just what I've heard and what I've seen from a couple of different places. It could be rage bait. It could be just regular bait. It could be clip farming. It could be truth. I have no idea. So we'll have to wait and see in the meantime for that, which I would imagine we probably won't know until Major 1 or Major 2 at the very earliest. But in the meantime, I think we're all kind of waiting with bated breath to find out where Major 1 is going to happen so we can kind of finalize, travel plans and all that stuff and see where we get to go. I think, Red, I think you're right. I think LA probably seems like it might be the best option in terms of like most appealing to people to go. But we will have to wait and see on that one. But
the fact that Major 1's might be somewhere reoccurring, dude, that's just heartbreaking.
I mean, I feel like it's been long enough since LA where that's like fine. Personally, I think I would gladly go back to Boston. I think that LAN was probably one of the best NA LANs that we've had. I just think that the atmosphere was awesome. The venue was really good. The crowd was awesome. It's also possible that could have been just because of the games that we got to see there, but still.
If it is Major 1 going to be in January?
End of February. End of February.
A February in Boston might be brutal. I don't
know.
I don't know if anyone's going to want to make that.
That's why I kind of said maybe it's a Vegas or an LA because it's going to be warmer there than at least in Boston or a DC in late February.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, the event's inside too, so like but we'll have to wait and see. But is there anything else that you guys wanted to add about Rocket League, about anything else before we wrap up for today?
All good here.
Okay. Well, with that, we would like to thank you all so much for listening. We'd like to remind everyone that this podcast is proudly brought to you by our name-level supporters on Patreon, Alyssa B. Please remember to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, share the show, tell a friend. It all helps us grow our audience and improve the show. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and Twitch, which we're currently live streaming on right now. Come join our Discord. Come talk some rock. Come talk some ball. Make sure to support us by checking out our merch store and our Patreon. This is how we fund the show and do giveaways. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya.